Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of the Players NIL Industry Insider Podcast. My special guest today, Mr. Jeff Martin. Jeff, welcome to the podcast.
What's going on, brother? How are you? Good to be here.
Well, thank you very much for agreeing to join the podcast and share your professional wisdom. We want to talk about employment, recruiting, and how athletes can position themselves to be recruited and be employed. But I want to make it a little personal. Tell us a little bit about your background. What's your connection to sports? Do you have one? And
I do.
yeah, tell us some good stories.
I played lacrosse. Came down to Maryland to play at Towson. Played there for a little bit, right? So I get what the athlete goes through. That's for sure. Went actually to a company right out of college that was known for hiring athletes, right? I mean, and again, I said this when you're going young and you're going green, right? The best thing you could have on top of that is athlete. You're at the top of the list, right? So I go there, go to school, and then I spun off an agency probably 13, 14 years ago, University Recruiters, which is now part of the Jeffrey Agency. And that company was solely the only reason we existed is to recruit individuals. They didn't have to be athletes, but college kids sort of fresh out to 2 to 3 years. No one was giving them any attention. It was, oh, just put up a job board. Who's going to pay? Those are low-lying fruit. But what you realize is there's a lot of work to go into it. There's a volume play. So we were able to turn that into a business that exploded, got attention of celebrities and big names everywhere. And we sort of dialed it in. And so if there's anyone that understands, and I've done a lot of speaking. It was weird when COVID hit, I sort of pulled back, which was everyone kind of went harder, but I just chilled and focused on the business. But there's a lot when you go young and you go green like we do, right? The portion of student athletes are a huge part of what we do, and honestly, what our customers look for. Plain and simple.
Yeah, well,
so that's what we do. We're out, we have a team, and we go. Now we're much bigger and different, but we still have that division where we look and we fill roles for our clients.
How did college athletics affect you, and do you think about it today? What are the lessons that have stuck with you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it started from kind of high school, to be honest, where you get that work ethic of, what do you mean time off? There is no break. There is no summer. Like it's not it's a mentality, right? And then there's that thing that everybody looks for, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a W-2 employee, is that we call it that it factor. We can't even explain it. It's like, holy shit, they have this thing to where they'll go through that brick wall so they don't lose, right? And I think, there's non-student athletes that have it, but I don't care if you play at the lowest level in college, right? To get there, you still have to sacrifice and go hard in high school. And then that is where you get that no one's going to stop me. And guy, girl, golf, volleyball, bowling, I don't even know if that's a sport. Nobody wants to lose. So when you get that and you go into a work environment, right? A lot of times on the sales side, they're like, oh, this guy will run through a wall and kill somebody before he loses, Yeah. And then there's that, then you almost have to dial it in a little bit, not to get off topic, because you got to make sure don't do anything the wrong way to win in business, right? Because we know how bad you want. So you have to start, and that's everybody. But the athletes just have that we call it that thing. Right. You remember back in the day, it's kind of weird. I just spoke about this the other day. Enterprise, their whole thing was college athletes. So that's sort of, I'm not saying that's gone. That sort of went away when COVID hit because they stopped hiring. But there's a reason, right? It's not because they were good at scoring or she was a good diver. It's all the other shit that comes with it that the average person, I'm not going to say they don't have, but they don't have.
Yeah, no, that's I think it's common sense. Let's talk about your profession. You're the CEO of the Jeffrey Agency. You obviously named after yourself, which is okay. We like that. You're in talent acquisition. Let's talk about your career, though, in that side of the world. How has hiring changed, whether it be technology, whether it be what the personalities look like? What is the process, the interview process? What's
That's
been the evolution, the evolution?
it's crazy. It's the most simple question. No one's really asked me that. And it is, and I'm gonna keep it short because I told you, but I can go on for 5 days with this shit. Um, what's happened, and again, I always use since COVID. I don't know if it's that or what, right? But when I got into the business, and again, I named my company University Recruiters, right? And then we started an arm called the Jeffrey Agency because there's a lot of people that wanted older, more professional, and the name was throwing them off, right? But anyway, when I started, first and foremost, it was no college degree, no job. Right. I mean, that was just, at least that was with all my clients. They were big corporate, I'm not going to name names, great companies that hired and educated and trained. And 7, 8, 9 years ago, so it was pre-COVID, but really now, I'm not going to say that's not important, but I'm going to say it's not as important as it was. That is the biggest thing, is that if I do an interview and you have that it thing, right? A lot of these companies, and it's set in the beginning. They either you have to have a degree just to keep it HR or it doesn't matter. And the amount of companies where it doesn't matter anymore, or we're willing to look at that person if they have everything else, is probably the biggest thing that's changed, right? Everyone wants to hear AI and all this shit. It's the fact that people don't, and I'll double down on that. They don't give a shit where you went anymore. I don't care if you went to Harvard. I don't listen, there's always going to be jobs that you have to get a degree and go for accounting and have to have these interns. But the general, I tell everyone, the greatest degree is mass comm because everybody needs someone that can communicate now. It used to be take the nerdy guy or girl, put him in the corner and punch numbers. That's not the way it operates anymore. So the biggest thing that changed is education and where you went to school. Yes, it still matters, right? I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't, but it doesn't matter as much if you bring that it factor to the table.
So
Bottom line.
let's talk. So that is not the answer I expected. But we see that, right? We see kids, well, enrollments down in college, right? For sure. And we see, kids being entrepreneur, going into technology.
Totally.
I mean, Steve Jobs, and there's plenty of people that didn't graduate from college, Bill Gates. But what is the
And by the way, when you're done asking the question, I'll talk about the other side of it, right? Because the people that have graduated, it's the most competitive it's ever been. But we'll get into that.
What's the it factor? Define the it factor. If I'm an employer, regardless of degree, regardless of university, what is the it factor? Define that.
Every person has their own, but it's funny, they call it that thing. It's that gut feeling when I'm on the other line that I don't have to coach you. I don't have to pull shit out of you. You just flow. You know where it starts with? Energy and communication, right? I don't care. I remember I was helping a celebrity start a very large company, which now is one of the best brands in America. I won't say it. But we would go in interviews, and I remember doing an interview with them. I said, "What's the first thing we're looking for?" Energy. Energy. Like, do you have the energy where if I put you next to someone, you're either a fertilizer spike or a killer? Like, what are you, right? So if you're out there and you're listening and you're younger and you're coming up or out of school, whatever, it's energy. If you can bring passion, if I have to pull shit out of you, I'm off the phone in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So the first way to hook somebody is energy. Oh, wow, this person's got, like, I want to have a conversation. And then it's just that flow. Do you communicate or is it choppy? Is it, and then this is what we say with the athlete. It's that hunger where I can't prep you for that. You have it, right? So you're communicating professionally, you're bringing energy, and you're getting me fired up, right? So there's not one thing, and everybody that does interviews has that what they're looking for. But if you take it as a whole, it's that communication, energy, and passion. And then I'm like, oh, well, you don't know shit, but I'll train this guy or girl. Like, I'll
Oh,
put time into this person, right?
right,
Because you got
right,
to remember, this is what I tell everyone: when you're green, here's your resume. It's
right,
nothing. So
right.
what are we doing? We're interviewing off passion and gut, right? I always say, it's the person's gut instinct of I'm going to put my money behind this person. I'm not losing.
I love
It's
that. And
not some
so,
trade. It's not something.
right. And in our world, we coach athletes about personal brands, right? And the
Totally.
personal brand is not what you think about you, it's what other people think of you, right?
Yeah.
So it's what you said, that it factor. You walk into a room, do they look at it and say, who is that? Do you get on the phone? Do they say, oh, this is interesting? And that personal brand development is a critical part of what we do. You said something I want to go
Huge.
back to. You said something I want to go back to. You said with a college degree, it's as competitive as ever. What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, I guess with or without, but I guess my first comment was the biggest thing that changed was there's a lot of jobs out there now. If you don't, let me put it this way, there's a lot of ways to make money now without a degree. Maybe
Right,
that's what I should say, right? The
right.
trades, it's a no-brainer where for so long it was like I have to have a degree to hang on the wall. Now I could be a painter, a drywall electrician and make a 500,000. I'm good, right? But when it comes to I'm leaving college and I need a job. A couple things happened. COVID opened up the world. Now, I will say it's coming back hard, so we'll talk about it. But COVID opened up the world to I can now be in North Carolina and I'm open to every up and comer entry level sales job in America. So what does that mean? So is everybody else, right? So that's a huge change. Where it used to be, I live in the DC area. Maybe there's only 30 companies that are hiring younger salespeople. Let's just stick with that. It could be anything. So I'm up against the other people graduating around there. I could probably edge out some people. I'm the best salesperson around 20 minutes. Now, am I the best in 50 states? Right? Where that's getting a little bit easier. There was years where people were screwed because it was hard. You were up against everybody. Now people are getting a little tighter to where I'll go back, more people failed when people were remote at the younger age. I'm just sticking the kind of fresh out of school because they weren't able to adopt culture. People didn't know what a happy hour was, right? Literally. So all these companies that were just, okay, well, I want that kid. He lives in Connecticut, but I'm in Ohio. Now they're like, screw it. In order for these people to work, we need them in the office so we can hands-on train them. So it's starting to go back quick, but that was one of the biggest things is that it's competitive in the sense that I'm up against so many more people because now this job doesn't need me to sit in this office.
That's a
And the
great.
quicker that goes back to old days, the quicker it goes back to old days, the quicker everybody will make money. I mean it. Like the amount of people that I've placed that thought they wanted to be remote because that's what they learned in college did not realize what it meant to have a mentor to actually get your ass kicked. And this is where athletes are better because they're used to it. And the kid who just wants to play video games at lunch at home is not getting that one on one, the attention. Hey, let's go to lunch. Let me pick your brain. And companies realize real quick, okay, no more hiring everywhere. Bring it in tight, or we're going to lose and they're going to lose.
Oh, that's amazing, and that's great, and it makes sense. I guess I've sensed that. I live in the city of Philadelphia, and you can see there's more offices open now than there were 2 years ago. Right? People are starting to come back.
Oh yeah,
All right,
it's
so
it's it's a necessity for some roles. The other things that changed, and I won't bore you, so we'll go quick, is the way a lot of people search. I'm still old school. I'm getting on the phone. I want to hear your story because if it's good, I still have, I have a big client in Philly, which I love. And the thing I like about these guys is if I submit somebody that nowadays AI will kick out because of some bullshit algorithm, I get that person through by saying, hey, man, this resume is interesting or weird, but let me tell you why I love this girl. Let me
All
tell
right.
you her story. Let me tell you her upbringing, right?
Yeah.
So the one thing that's changed is a lot of that's gone out, and you're being screened by some computer that has no clue what they're doing. No clue. So it's kind of not fair, but you better get used to it.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, so we talked about that side, the hiring side. Great stories, great analysis of the industry and the marketplace. Let's go to the other side, to the students, and we'll frame it around athletes. You've been doing this a long time, Jeff. How have kids changed?
Phew, they're soft as shit. It's just bottom line, and again, I'm not going to say because I'm from New York, but I remember if I told a story the other day. I was riding my bike to McDonald's at 15. I made a fake work permit so I could work, and I walked through the woods 3 miles, then rode on the highway so I could open and cook your breakfast at 5 a.m. Now, I'm not going to say those people don't exist anymore, but I'm looking the way I'm raising my kids. I'm trying to teach them, but they got everything, right? So it's just they don't understand that you got to put the time in. Like, don't ask me what the hours are. Like, work first. Get your teeth kicked in. Grind it out. And by the way, they're still out there. I'm just saying it used to be when I came up, everybody was willing to outwork the next person. I didn't care about what time I got out of work when I was 23. Right now, it's what's the schedule? What's my vacation? What's like, and I get it, work-life balance, but a lot of these companies that gave in are going back the old ways, and people are going to have no job if they don't realize that, hey, maybe I can't go play softball on a Tuesday. I got to work, right? I'm not saying, listen, I'm all about work life. I get it. You got to have fun. But like, the people that are just I need to work 9 to 5, not a minute over that. Good luck.
You sound like Dana White. He said something similar about this generation, that he told his kids if they worked hard, they would kick everyone's ass.
And then that's the other thing, right? Nowadays, if you come out and do what you and I just had to do to survive, you look like holy shit.
Right,
Like, oh my God.
right, right,
But the amount of people, like I'll do a search today for a company in Boca Raton, West Palm that's looking for someone 2 to 3 years out. They're looking for that young stud. By the way, they'll all tell you if athlete first, please, because they have that thing we can't teach. And the amount of people that I'll say, hey, so and so saw your profile. I love what I see. And by the way, this is advice for those watching. I got a great opportunity. We should chat. Whatever my message is, the only response is yes, what works? I want to talk. The amount of people that say, well, what are the hours? What's my pay? I don't respond back. By the way, I'm letting you know the recruiter's not going to respond because I got too many people that are pumped up, right? So just take the call and get some swings of interviewing under your plate. Don't respond back to the recruiter or the company with a list of demands when you're a 21-year-old shit that's done nothing,
right,
right? Like,
right,
and by the way, I get it. You need to know those things. But we're just not going to respond because I have 500 other people knocking down my door for the opportunity. So when the first thing you say is this remote, what's the hours? You're soft to me. It
right.
should be like, yes, where do I sign up? Let's talk.
Great. I love it. All right, we're getting to the end here, so I need some sound bites, words of advice, 3 or 4. I'm a freshman in college. I have a vision for what I want to do. What are the things I need to do in the next 4 years so that I am a desirable candidate?
I'm going to give you one that you're not expecting. Get your LinkedIn page, start networking, and max the shit out of that. Make that page your website. That's everything. I promise you, when you graduate, you'll be so far ahead with your connections that one post of I'm ready to graduate, here's what I want, you'll have 100 people coming to you, right? Something that you may think Jeff Martin would say is keep your head down and bust your ass. Just work hard. Nothing's handed to you. And I promise you, when you get out, it's competitive as shit. And nobody is there to wipe your butt. when you get out. Your parents aren't, they don't care. Your parents can't come to work for you, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. So you better get thick skin right now.
Love it. Well, that's a drop the mic moment there. You know, I mean, those are
Yeah.
two, and we profess LinkedIn. I can't tell you, I spoke to 50 colleges last year and 1,000 students in person. I can't tell you how many juniors and seniors didn't have a LinkedIn profile.
I have a
It's
whole
crazy.
training course on it just because it's like, it's important.
Yeah. Um, if our audience wants to learn more about you, the group, they want to connect with you, where do we find you? On
Come
LinkedIn,
on.
on
That's
LinkedIn,
it.
I assume.
I don't even have to answer. Yeah, just go to LinkedIn, right? I mean, you can see what jobs we have. If anyone out there needs, 10 minutes of advice, I get on every call. I'm here to help, especially the younger kids. But anyone, I have a call after this of a 55-year-old who's having a hard time getting back to work, right? So, I'm here to coach everybody. Um, but yeah, get on LinkedIn, connect, and start early.
Great.
The job market is not senior year anymore. It starts sophomore year.
Sophomore year. Great. Well, listen, this has been great. Your advice is spot on. It's real. I love the authenticity of it all. I want to thank you for being on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Best of luck with your business.
You got it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.